Okay, so like I said, we're going to skip the warm-up because we did not get to finish our set of notes from yesterday. So we have 2 slides left to finish there. So I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. We're going to get those opened up. I'm going to have you guys do that as well, please. After we finish up these notes, you'll be able to get them turned in. So it is over on Google Classroom. Should be the math notes from yesterday. The graphing inequalities notes. Same notes from yesterday. Let's go ahead and get those opened up, please. There are only 2 slides left. So let's get those opened up and we will continue from where we left off. Yoshi?
Oh, look at how small that was. It is such a perfect circle.
All right. So let's just review really quick what it means to graph an inequality. So, Ms. Daphne. Yeah.
Is this the graphing inequality notes?
Yes, graphing inequality notes. So to graph an inequality, it's going to look like something like this, right? So you get an inequality that's like x is less than 4. You put a dot on 4. You have to decide if it's an open or a closed dot, and then you point the arrow to the ones that are less than. No, I was just showing you one really quick. So yesterday we talked about some different words that tell you if it's greater than, less than, or equal to. We wrote a few inequalities. And then today we're going to start with graphing them. We're going to do all of these together today because we're going to do some practice and you'll do an independent one later this morning in about a half hour where I see how well you guys have retained it or not. Practice for a grade. Practice for a grade. It's only 4 questions though. I think you'll be okay. So we're going to start by doing this first one. Graph the following inequalities on a number line. We have x is less than 7. And then behind me really quick, we're going to write something down. If I want to use an open circle, what 2 inequalities am I going to use? Or would I use this for? Good. Greater than or less than. What about if I'm using a closed circle? Good. Less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. It has that equal to in it. So if it's a closed circle, it includes the number that you're putting it on. If it's an open circle, it does not include it. That's where the equal to comes from. Okay? So I'm going to leave that behind me while we graph these. This first one says, let me zoom in a little bit. That was not very much. That's okay. X is X is greater than -7. Where is -7 on here? It's pretty small. I'm going to zoom in pretty far.
It's on the negative side, on the left, and not right.
It's not zooming in. There we go. Too far. Whoa. Undo. Undo. Okay, never mind.
If you do 100 and put it in the middle, let's move it.
Okay. We'll just stick with 100. So we need to do x is greater than -7. So first we need to find -7, which you guys said is on the negative side at -7. Now we need to decide if we're going to use an open or a closed circle. How do I know? It's open. How do we know? Good. If there's no equal to, so this circle that's right here, that's open, we need to move that, when you get the correct thing, to -7. So you put your open circle on -7 as best as you can. I know that's kind of small, but put the open circle on -7. Yep, and then we're going to draw our arrow next. So I'm going to give you a second to put your open circle. Okay, so you put your open circle, and then we need to point our arrow to the numbers that are greater. So am I pointing my arrow to the left, where it gets more negative, or am I pointing it to the right, where it becomes positive? To the right. So remember to do that. You go up to the line tool, hit the drop down and select the arrow one. And then you start at the circle and point it to the right. I'm going to make it up, like point it up a little bit so you guys can see it pretty well.
Wait, how do you do that?
You go to the arrow,
Okay.
the line,
And then you point it up.
then you select the arrow, and then you point it to the right. I just angled it up a little bit so that you can see which way I'm pointing it. You can keep it directly on the line if you want to. I just need to know that you're pointing it to the right, to the numbers that are greater.
I think I did it.
Okay?
I did it.
That's okay.
You want the arrow one?
Yes, make sure it's an arrow because the arrow at the end tells me that you're pointing it in that direction. If you don't have an arrow on it, I don't know which way you're pointing. It could be either way because the line will go on no matter what, each direction. If you point an arrow, then I know that you mean a specific way. Okay? All right. Good. Does that make a little bit of sense? Open circle, point it the way that's greater. Okay, let's look at our next one. We have x is less than 8. Less than 8. So where am I going to put my circle, first of all? On the positive 8. Am I going to put an open or a closed circle? Either it's less than. So look at our chart behind me. Which one uses less than? Open circle. There's no equal to, so we need to move our open circle. As best as, there we go, on 8. Move it there as best as you can. Positive 8, because that is a positive 8, right? Once you get that circle placed, how do I know which direction to point my arrow?
You have to point it in the negative side?
Why would I point it to the negative side? You're correct. Why? Well, think about the inequality, Madi. Because we're looking for the numbers that are less than 8. So we need to point our arrow in the direction that's less than 8. So we point it to the left because any number to the left is less than 8. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, really.
Wait, how did I get up to 8? Okay, I got it.
All right. Ready for our next one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the bottom left. We have x is greater than or equal to 3. First of all, what number am I putting my circle on? On positive 3. Good. We do need to figure out which circle it is first. Juliana, why do you think it's a circle, a full circle? Good. It's this closed circle, the red dot, because it is equal to on the bottom. So move the red dot to the 3 this time. Yes, Yoshi.
Yeah, move the line towards the minus sign or negative sign.
We're doing numbers greater. So which way would you point it?
Negative sign? Or positive?
Well, if you go negative, you're getting less. You're making things smaller.
So positive.
Positive.
Wow.
So because we are talking about greater than 3, which way do I need to point my arrow? To the left or to the right?
Right.
To the right, because any number that's to the right of 3 is greater. So you need to point it in the direction that is greater than 3. So some solutions there could be 3.5, 4, 10, 82, anything greater than 3, or equal to. That's why the circle is colored in, because it shows you that it can be exactly 3 or anything above it. Okay? And finally, our last one. X is less than or equal to negative 6. First, where will my circle be? The negative 6. What kind of circle will I use this time? Closed, because it has equal to on it. So I am going to use my red closed circle again. Put it on negative 6. Okay? Negative 6. Then we have x is less than or equal to negative 6. Which way am I going to point my arrow if it's less than negative 6? To the negatives, to the left, because those are less than negative 6. So we're going to point it to the left that way. It's kind of a small one. Okay, so go ahead and take a minute to get those filled in. I'm going to check my attendance really quick. Make sure you have all 4 of those done.
Wait, is it on the -6 or what?
Well, is that number is in
Oh, yeah.
So yes, put it on the negative.
Okay, I couldn't see it. It looked like a 4 at first, and then it looked like a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and look at slide number 8. On this one, we need to type the correct inequality for whatever graph we have. Okay. So the easy part of this is that it always starts with x. So that's fun. X. Okay. Then we need to decide what sort of inequality we need. I'm going to start by putting what it is equal to. So x.
Can I delete the type here, please?
Yes, you can delete type here. Yeah, I just typed in a regular x. And then we need to figure out if it's greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay, so Madi says less than or equal to. Why? Okay, because our arrow is pointing to the numbers that are less, so it does need to be less than. And we know it's equal to because this is a closed and colored in circle. So I'm just going to copy and paste my less than or equal to from up here. Oh, that's really big. That's okay. Less than or equal to. And then what number is it going to be less than or equal to? 4. Wow, that x is so tiny.
I just put a space and it became big.
It's not the wrong way. Why do you say it's the wrong way?
Because it's saying that 4 is more than.
No, it's not. It's saying any number that you plug in for x must be less than or equal to 4. I think you just think about them backwards sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at number 2 over here. So the one on the right now. We have an open circle at -16. And which way is it pointing? To the positive direction, which means that we're going to use what inequality? Greater than. So we have x first. Is it greater than or is it greater than or equal to? It's an open circle. So which one would it be? Just greater than, because there's no closed circle. So we're not including -16 in this. It's any number that is greater than -16. We're just going to keep going on them, so if you want to do it there. Okay. Let's look at the middle one on the left. So this one, first of all, we have to figure out where it is even. Where is that number?
Miss Jones, I finally did that.
Huh? Not 17. So we have 0 and then 18. What is halfway between 0 and 18? 9. So this one is equal to 9. But we have to figure out what inequality goes there. Is it less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to? Just less than? Okay. Why is it just less than, not equal to? Good. It is an open circle, so we're not including 9. It's just anything that is less than 9.
Why is your letter so tiny?
I don't know.
Mine's are huge.
That's okay.
The next one is
Okay, let's look at the middle one on the right this time. We're at the number -20. We need to decide if it's less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. What do you guys think? So I hear greater than because it's pointing to the numbers that are bigger. Is it equal to as well? Why is it equal to as well? Because it is a closed circle. Good. And what is x greater than or equal to? What number? -20. Good. How are we doing online? Still following and doing all right?
Yeah.
You guys are not online. I was asking the online people.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Only we're doing no thank you.
Yes.
I just can't see the other part of what you put on.
All right. Let me know if you guys need anything that are online. Okay. We're not done. We have 2 more. All right.
Wait, we did the top one?
We need to figure out our inequality on this one. So we know it starts with x. Is it less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to? Well, which way is it pointing? Greater than or less than? Numbers is it pointing to? It's pointing to the numbers that are greater than. And then is it an open or closed circle? Good, so it's greater than or equal to. Yeah, we're turning it in after we're done. And what number is this? Is x going to be greater than or equal to? Not 30. Where's our dot? 10. Good. Alrighty. Good. And our last one. We have first x. Always start with your x. Is it greater than or less than, first of all? Good. The numbers are pointing to the greater than side. Numbers that are greater than 8. Is it equal to? It is not. This is an open circle, so it's just greater than what number? 8. Any number that you plug in must be greater than 8. Okay. How are we doing with this concept? The more we do it, I think the easier it gets, right? Okay, good. I'm gonna give you guys maybe 2 minutes. Just make sure that all of these things that said type here are filled in, and you can turn in these notes. You should still be able to see them in case you need them. But go ahead and get this turned in. I'm going to we're gonna work on some stuff behind me. So those of you online, have a piece of paper or something to write on so you can do some practice problems with these. Those of you here, you guys can get your computer turned off and put to the side so you have room to write on your desks, please. Your warm-up?
Yeah.
No, we're not doing a warm-up today. Okay, but take about 2 minutes. Those of you online, make sure you have a pen and paper, pencil, paper, something to write with, please, so that you can do these practice problems with us. Those of you here can get your computer shut and put to the side so that you can be doing it on your desk, please.
Like turned off all the way?
Yeah, you can turn it off all the way. I just don't want to see them open during the lesson, please. You can get them completely shut.
You need a marker too.
Yes, you need a marker. How else are you going to write on your desk?
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah, but we're going to do practice problems first.
I'm gonna say this when they tell me what their lunch
Okay, you guys should be graphing some and writing the inequalities. So if you want to split your desks or your papers into 4, or you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's fine. I am going to rearrange the setup so that the people online can see this. All right, so I'm going to stop presenting so that we can see what is behind me. Looks good. Okay, that looks good, right? We can see that?
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna do maybe 10 practice problems. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far we get.
No,
We're not very far into the lesson, but your guys' independent practice should post around 10:45-ish. So we're gonna kind of just do some practice, and then I will give you guys the time to work on that practice one on your own. It's only 4 problems, so I don't think you need too much time to take it.
okay.
So let's go ahead and look at these. Number one, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna write an inequality on the board. So let's say I say x is greater than 2. Your job is to graph this. So the first thing that you need to do is figure out how to write your number line. Okay? You can have,
Students and teachers, excuse the interruption. There will be no orchestra today. No orchestra today.
I thought you were gonna say there's no recess today.
Yeah,
I was
gonna
gonna say,
so we're gonna start with, we need to write the correct numbers on our number line, right? We can start with 0. You can put your -1, -2. Then you can go 1, 2, 3, right? So you got to make sure you have a number line that's accurately labeled. You can't just randomly throw a number up there. You got to write a number line correctly first. It doesn't have to be like 0 through 20. As long as you have enough room to actually write the graph, you need to draw the graphs on these ones. Okay? So now we need to decide how to graph this. We have x is greater than 2. What sort of circle am I going to use? Open or closed?
oh, yeah.
If it's greater than,
Sorry.
use an open circle on that number. And then we need to determine which arrow or which way our arrow points. What numbers are greater than 2? Which way am I going to point it? The ones that are greater, to the right. There we go. Graphed it. Done.
Yay. Is that easy?
It's that easy.
Right. Well, why? The number line is.
Yeah, the number line is just according to wherever your number is. So if I give you a -8, then you just want to make sure that you have the correct numbers on here. Okay. So I'm gonna have you guys do these 3 on your own, and then we'll talk about them. So let's do x is less than or equal to 4. So you can start with that one. Number 3, we'll do x is greater than or equal to -1. And number 4, x is less than
I can't draw.
1/2. Try a 1/2 and see how that goes. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes on these. Your number lines do not have to be huge and super duper long. They just need to make sure you include the numbers that you need. Okay.
Oh, no wonder why I didn't make it so big.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like the longest thing ever. It just needs to include the numbers that you need.
What's like that?
Okay. So take a few minutes on these ones, please.
How big do you think I'll need it?
No, do them on different number lines because that way we know which arrows are for which ones. You want to use different number lines. You need to write them down. What?
Someone type something.
Yeah. Okay.
Give her some bruh.
Here you go. Write them out, please. Do the work.
Yeah, bruh.
Okay, do the practice.
How big do you think I need some number line?
Well, if you're going from number 2 up to 4, you can make start at 0 over here. And do 1, 2, 3, 4.
So they can next.
It doesn't matter. You can put them as close or far apart as you need to.
Oh,
Yep. You make the number line.
this is so complicated. What?
The number line doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be there.
But the numbers are so complicated. That's the whole point of math.
Come on.
Miss Joe, somebody type something.
Here, I'll go look at it. Yes, it would be a flat circle. And which way would you point it?
Left or right? Yes, or right.
That's all right, Gabriel. Just focus on working on these problems, please.
go by one, just have your negatives in your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
So it's similar to this. And then this one, you just need to make sure you know where 1/2 is. Where's 1/2? You can still go by one. If you just have to make sure you put it.
Two in the middle? Oh.
Okay, about 1 more minute. I'm gonna get some number lines written up here.
Wait, is this supposed to be in the middle, right?
It doesn't have to be right in the middle.
Oh. I thought it always has to be like right in the middle.
Doesn't always have to be. It can look like this, so you have the -2 up to 5. That's fine. Just make sure you have.
Oh, okay, now I see what you did there.
Yeah, your number lines just need to be in the same. If you count by ones, just make sure you always count by ones. You can't just be like, here's a 0, then a 5, then 6, then 18. It's just got to go in order. I don't know either. Check when we do it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, boy. That took us a lot of time. You should want your water bottle hanging. Oh, thank you.
Okay, focus. Work on these problems, please.
Okay.
Okay, about 1 more minute. If you are struggling with how to do the number lines, I have some up there. You can copy them and try them on your own number line.
My water bottle is executed for having too much water.
Okay, well, sorry for that, but do the work.
Okay. Try for your lost feet.
All right. Let's go ahead and go over these. So we did our first one, right? That one's good. Let's look at number 2. X is less than or equal to 4. So we know that our circle needs to go on 4. What kind of circle will it be?
I know.
What is it? Closed or open?
Close.
Closed.
Yeah.
It's equal to, so it's a closed circle. And now, if it's less than, we need to make sure our arrow points to the numbers that are less than 4. So will I point it to the left or to the right?
Left.
To the left, to the numbers less than 4. That's your answer.
I got it.
That's your graph. Okay? Our next one, number 3 here, says x is greater than or equal to -1. So we're on -1, correct? What sort of circle will it be? Open or closed? Closed. Was that a question or an answer?
Close.
It's closed. It's an answer. Good. This is equal to, so it's a closed circle. Now, which way do I need to point my arrow? To the numbers that are greater. This way. 0 is greater than -1. 1 is greater than -1. 2 is greater than -1. 843 if you were to keep going out on this number line. That's greater than 1. Yep.
Are you really?
The reason we use an arrow is to show that this can go on and on and on forever. The arrow doesn't mean that it stops right there. It just means that you can go on and on and on forever. So any number that is greater than -1 is an answer to your inequality.
Can that be a 1.1?
Yes, that's decimal, it's a number. Yes. Okay, let's look at number 4. We have x is less than 1/2. I threw this in there to see how you guys would do on this. We first need to figure out where 1/2 is. Where is 1/2? What two numbers is it in between? It is directly in the middle of 0 and 1. That is where 1/2 is. That looks like a 6, backward 6. 1/2. So now that we know where 1/2 is, how do I know what circle to put here? It's open. Why? There is no equal to, so it's an open circle, and we need to point to the numbers that are less than 1/2. What's less than 1/2? 0, -1, anything this direction, correct? Oops, that's the wrong way for an arrow. That's your answer. Open circle on 1/2. What is it? Yeah. That's okay. It doesn't matter how big your number line is, as long as you have the circle in the correct spot and it's pointing the correct direction. Your number line can be as big or as little as you want it to be. Alex, turn off this. Okay, let's do. What time is it? Okay, let's do 4 more of these, because why not? Okay, so I'm gonna let you do all 4 this time. First one, x is greater than or equal to 7. X is less than or equal to negative 2.5. X is less than negative 3. X is greater than 0. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead and draw your graphs for those, please. Start with your number line. Put your numbers in the right spots.
Can I just make a number line that only has one number on it?
Yeah.
Wait, why'd you go to 9? I thought that was only 7.
Well, I'm gonna put my number at 7 and draw my arrow. I just made it 9, because why not? Again, your number line can be whatever you want to make it.
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
No, your 0 does not have to be right in the middle. Your 0 can be wherever it needs to be to make your number line fit.
Why did they make baby oil for?
Can you focus, please?
Yeah.
Okay, if you need help with the number lines, I drew some up there so you can use the same number lines that I have, but you need to graph the circle and the arrow on your own. We'll review these in 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes. Maybe 2. 2 minutes, because you guys can do these 2 minutes a day.
I don't think so. You're right. Only the smart people can. Oh, that's the devil, but. Wait, can there be a negative 0?
No, 0 is right in the middle of the negative numbers and the positive numbers.
Isn't 0 not a number?
0 is a number, it's just not negative and it's not positive. It just kind of cuts the negative and positive in half, so you have one side of the 0 is negative, one side is positive.
I didn't see it. I didn't. What? Right, 228. Wow.
Say about 1 minute.
Okay, so we'll do 7. Open or close. I'm not. I'm never gonna do this. My name is John.
Say about 30 more seconds and then we will
Down and done.
go over these.
Done. I said the rest of that just over there. Do that while we're playing football. Okay. The teacher has, Miss Alice. Is that the teacher that goes outside the water? So will her class be over there?
I don't think they were yesterday.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know. They're supposed to be, but I don't know.
that's what I was saying. I was like, wait, I thought Miss Alice's class was supposed to be on 6th grade time.
That's all right. Okay, let's go ahead and review these. So our first one, we have x is greater than or equal to 7. We know we need to put our circle on the number 7. Okay. What type of circle is it? Open or closed? Closed.
Yes, I got it.
Why is it a closed circle? Okay, because it has the equal to. Now we need to point our arrow to the numbers that are greater than 7. So which numbers are greater? Yes, Charlie. What?
The smaller side is always the way that.
Oh, good catch. The way that your inequality is pointing is the way you draw your arrow.
Whoa, wait.
See how your inequality is pointing that way? Your arrow also points that way.
Oh my god! Like it's
Yeah.
an arrow just guiding.
That's a little bit of a.
opposite way. I don't get it. I don't know. The arrow pointing that way. I don't.
No, it's not. The arrow's pointing.
It's like this.
Yeah. So the tip of the inequality is pointing the way that your arrow goes. That's a little bit of a trick, but it doesn't always work. That's why I don't really teach it to you. Because sometimes you'll have it where it's like 7 is less than or equal to x, but when you flip it, it's wrong. So don't always use that trick. So you got to make sure it has the x first, then the inequality, then the number, then the trick will work, but not always. Does that make sense?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Just think about it in terms of the less than, greater than, and you'll get it right all the time.
Oh,
Okay, our next one. X is less than or equal to negative 2.5. Where is negative 2.5? Between what two numbers? What between the 3 and 2? Okay, between negative 2 and negative 3. It's directly in the middle. Negative 2.5 is right there. What sort of circle am I going to draw on negative 2.5? Closed circle because it is equal to. And then what numbers are less than negative 2.5? Any number to the left.
I could never get those ones that are like the right.
That's okay.
I could never get the best one.
Our next one. X is less than negative 3. I'm going to put my circle on negative 3. What type of circle?
Open.
Open circle. There is no equal to, so it's an open circle. What numbers are less than negative 3? So this way is greater if you go. So we need to go to the left on this one. Anything less than negative 3, so more negative.
Okay, I'm starting to get it just a little bit.
Now, our last one, x is greater than 0. So we're at our number 0. What sort of circle am I going to use? Open or closed?
Open.
Open. There is no equal to, so it's an open circle. And which way do I point it to make it greater than 0? To the right.
That way. I did it.
Good. How'd you guys do on those? Good. Good.
Good.
All right. Good. Okay. We're going to switch gears a little bit. This time, I'm going to draw the graph, and you guys need to tell me what the inequality is that matches. What? Oh, my gosh.
Okay. I'm hanging my fingers.
So we'll do one together, and then I'm going to let you guys do 3. So let's say I draw the graph that looks like this. 0, 1, negative 1. And I have a closed circle, and I point it to the right. We need to write the inequality for this. So we always know that it starts with x. We need to decide what inequality this is. Is it greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to? So we know the numbers are greater than. And is it equal to? Yep, because it is a closed circle. And then what number is it greater than or equal to? Negative 1. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the graph. You guys write the inequality. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Do your best on it, okay? So your next one, let's do,
You make it easy, not hard. Make it hard.
there's your first one.
I can't do it.
There's your third one.
Are those the air bubbles? Not bubbles. Oh yeah, they are air bubbles.
Okay, there's 3 more graphs. Go ahead and write those, please. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. So look at the graph Write your inequalities, please.
Done. He's done. He's done. Okay. How the heck do you guys do this? They got no brain. Okay, let me try it. Well, my brain's like just looking at it. That's one. I don't know which way it goes. Does it go left or does it go right? It goes this way. Does it always have to be an X, Miss Jones?
Yep. No, you can use like Y, A, any variable, any order.
No, then you get. And you use E.
Yep.
What else?
Any letter. Yep.
Oh, I got it right.
Okay, about 1 more minute, then we're gonna review, and then I think that your guys' independent practice should be up, and you guys can try that.
There's no I got this right.
All right.
Wait, how do you figure out which way it goes?
The arrow.
Oh. He could have.
The way that your arrow is pointing is the way that your inequality points. Okay. It's not. No, it's not.
Why do I keep drawing it on the wrong side?
What's backwards, Charlie?
Okay, got it.
Number 4. What do you mean?
It's backwards.
The number line is a negative number line. It's not backwards. Yeah. Okay.
I got 2. I got 3. I got 1.
Number 2 is correct. You're close with number 2. You're just missing one thing. You'll see when we do it. Okay. Let's look at number 2 here. We have someone asked me if it's always an X. It's not. You can use N if you want to. You can use Y, Z, whatever variable you want to use works. So if we use N for number, so your number needs to be what? What circle and stuff does this mean?
The open circle means the left 2.
Open circle means it's not equal to, and it's pointing to numbers that are what? Less than what number? 1. So it's any number that is less than 1. That's your answer. How'd you guys do? Good. How about online? How you guys doing? I'm just. We're getting there.
Bro, you only want to
Okay. Number 3. We have X. Actually, you know what? Let's use B, because why not? B. We need, which way is my arrow pointing, first of all? Greater than or less than? These are greater. These numbers are greater than. Is it equal to?
Yeah.
Yep, because it has a closed circle. What number?
-2.
-2. Make sure you keep that negative.
Oh, I forgot that.
You forgot the equal to, yeah. Yes, yes.
Can I go to the bathroom?
After we finish our last problem.
Okay.
Number 4, we have, let's use Z. Whatever number Z is less than or greater than, first of all.
Greater than.
What number? These are pointing to numbers that are less than. So Z is less than. Is it equal to?
Yeah.
Equal to, good. What number?
-3.
-3.
Can I go to the bathroom now?
Yes, you may use the bathroom now. All right. So that is the practice that we're going to do, but before anybody leaves or heads out, we have an independent practice that I'm going to have you guys work on your own until the end of class. It's only 4 questions. So I'm going to share my screen. Hey, focus. You guys want to talk, then you guys won't go to recess. So under math, you now have an assignment that's called Graphing Inequalities Practice. Once you get that, you can open it up. It is a Google slide because these are really hard to do on Google Forms. So you can open it up, get zoomed in. 100 is pretty good. And then where it says type here, that's where you type your answers. Oh. There you go. Sorry. So once you get on here, you can use the arrows on the right or and stuff. There's all kinds of tools over here to use. You can copy and paste these. You can move them around. But for number 1, part A, you need to write an inequality that says you got a final grade of at least 80. Part A, number 2, there's 2 A's there. You need to write an inequality that says Evan jogs more than 20 miles per week. Okay. For number 2, you need to solve these problems first. You need to solve for X. So solve the inequality and then you can graph the inequality. So you got to do 2 steps there. Solve them, then graph them. So where it says type here, oops, undo that, sorry. Where it says type here, you need to type the inequality. So it'll be something along the lines of X is greater than, less than, greater than or equal to your answer. Solve the inequality. We've solved the inequalities for a week. It's like where it says type here. Click it twice and you can delete type here and type your answer. And then you need to graph the inequalities as well. So there are 2 problems where you write the inequalities and then 2 problems where you solve and graph them. Yeah, you guys can use the notes that I've given you from last week and this week, but that's your independent practice. You guys will be working on that until the end of class. You have about 10 minutes. So those of you online, make sure you finish that up before you guys head out, please.